नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। गजाननं भूतगणातिसेवितं कवित्वजम्बूफलसारभक्षितम् उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारणं नमामि विघ्नेश्वरपादपङ्कजम्। आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्। आर्तानामार्तिहन्तारं भीतानां भयनाशनं द्विषतां कालदण्डं तं रामचन्द्रं नमाम्यहम्। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविता शाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलं। वाल्मीकिर्मुनिसिंहस्य कवितावनचारिणः शृण्वन् रामकथानादं को न याति परां गतिं। गोष्पदीकृतवारीशं मशकीकृतराक्षसं रामायणमहामाला रत्नं वन्दे नीलात्मजम्। अञ्जनानन्दनं वीरं जानकीशोकनाशनं कपीशमक्षहन्तारं वन्दे लङ्काभयङ्करम्। मङ्गलभवन अमङ्गलहारी मंगलभवन अमंगलहारी द्रवहु सुदशरथ अजिरे बिहारी। द्रवहु सुदशरथ अजिरे बिहारी। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई। कृपा करो गुरु देव की नाई। कृपा करो गुरु देव की नाई। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई। मंगल भवन अमंगलहारी। जनक सुता जग जननी जानकी। अतिशय प्रिय करुणा निधान की। ताके युगपद कमल मनाओ। जासु कृपा निर्मल मति पाऊं। We were with Rama and Lakshmana in the forest of Janasthana. In Dandakaranya, Rama had come back. He had seen the ashrama. To the great dread of his, the ashrama was empty. There was no Sita. Then how he and Lakshmana had darted around searching this place and that place. First, this is where Sita would go to pluck out flowers. Let us go and see there. This is where Sita would go to play with the squirrels and the deer, and they go and search in that part of the forest. And then they say this. Sita used to go to meditate here. So she used to go to offer worship in this part of the forest. So they'll go look. They couldn't find her anywhere. And then we found that after the initial burst of frenzy of search, where reason was playing a minimal role. There was a lot of consternation. Rama had been upset with Lakshmana. Lakshmana had explained why he had done what he had done. Rama had pooh-poohed his reason. He had told him he has been guilty of dereliction of duty. All of that we saw. And then we saw Rama noticed something different, and he had told Lakshmana, listen Lakshmana, this is peculiar. These animals, they seem to be wanting to tell me something. They are looking at me as if they want to tell me something. And then when he had turned around to those animals and asked them, they had all got up together and started running in the southern direction and looking up at the sky and stopping and looking back at Rama. And then they had realized that they are trying to tell something, that maybe Sita has been carried off in that direction. Come. So, we saw all that last time. We saw that beautiful dialogue of Rama with the tiger that Valmiki has outlined. When he asked the tiger, you can take the chair there. When he asked the tiger, where do you know where is Sita, and please don't be afraid. He had told the tiger not to be afraid of him. We saw all that. And then when they had gone in that direction that the animals had pointed out, Rama had noticed on the forest floor flowers, petals from flowers, which he recognized as something that he had given Sita. He said, these flowers I gave Sita. She had braided them into her hair, Lakshmana. These are the very same flowers. He had recognized that, and he had blessed the earth and the sky and the wind for having not blown them away from there, that he could see. There were signs. And then we left last time. At that point, where he had seen the mark of a large foot on the ground. Just before that, he had got very angry. When he saw the petals on the forest floor, then he had taken his bow and looked around at the mountains and shouted at them saying, if you are not going to tell me where Sita is, I am going to burn you to the ground. So he is vacillating between anger and still some reasoned behavior. But now he saw on the forest floor the mark of a large foot. That's where we stopped. We continue from there. He realized that this footprint He realized that this footprint is that of a Rakshasa. One second. I think they can't tell this. Yeah. Can you see Ujjwal? I think this signal got off, so they couldn't see. I don't know whether he can see now. Doesn't matter. So Rama realized, he said, this is that of a large Rakshasa. This footprint is that of a large Rakshasa. And then he started looking around at the forest floor, and then he noticed the smaller, finer footprints of Sita. And obviously the footprints of Sita were not firm on the ground like that of the other one that he saw. It was more of smaller footprint, as such the feet is small, and then he could make out she's running. Hither and thither, directionless running. He tried, he looked around. And then he saw that purposeful movement of the huge feet of the Rakshasa with huge strides going in the direction of Sita running. So he followed that. And then suddenly he saw on the ground a huge bowl lying broken. He looked at that and then looked around, and then he found a broken chariot lying on the ground. Then he told Lakshmana. All eyes, he was just seeing everything on the forest floor. I told Lakshmana, Lakshmana, look, these are specks of gold, those small specks of gold that you see in the forest floor here, on the grass here. These are all gold from Vaidehi's ornaments. Notice on the ground those drops of what looks like burnished gold. That is blood, Lakshmana. There's blood drops out here. Saumitri, I think either Sita has been torn to bits or she has been eaten up. She may be eaten up by the Rakshasa, Saumitri. Some battle has taken place here. Lakshmana, some battle has taken place here. I can see that. Maybe between two Rakshasas fighting over Sita. Look at this bow, Lakshmana. Whose bow could this be? Look at this bow. It's set with pearls. This bow is set with pearls. And it is adorned with beautiful gold. This is an extraordinary bow, Lakshmana. This is not an ordinary bow. Whose bow could this be? Look at that. That's an armor lying there, Lakshmana. That's an armor lying there. It's a golden armor. It's an armor which is inset with beautiful gemstones of lapis lazuli. Look at it. It's shining like the rising sun, Lakshmana. Sorry, you can't hear, is it?
No, we can't see it, we can't hear.
She's able to see now.
Oh, I couldn't see.
Now you can see, I think.
I'll rejoin.
Yeah. I don't know whether they can hear or not. I suppose so. I can't help it. Okay. And then he noticed on the ground a huge umbrella. Hey, look, that's 100-rimmed umbrella that is lying there on the ground. It's adorned with flowers that are not available in this forest, Lakshmana. These are not ordinary flowers, these are celestial flowers that are seen in this umbrella. And look, the umbrella staff, it's a golden one and it's broken. The umbrella has been broken. And what are these? He said, going further. There were lying those donkeys, those asses with the faces of gold, the Pishacha faces, whom Jatayu had killed. They were lying on the ground, sprawled. He said, what is this? Asses with Pishacha faces. But asses with golden breastplates. Obviously, Lakshmana, there has been a battle here and these asses have been slain in battle. Whose could all this be? Whose is this chariot, this war chariot that is blazing there, lying down, lying on the forest floor, broken but blazing? It's not an ordinary chariot. It is dazzling the eye just to look at it. And those arrows, you found some arrows. Look at that. Evidently, these arrows belong to some fierce fighter, Lakshmana. These arrows are as big as a chariot's axle. Thick and big like a chariot's axle. And they are brilliantly embossed. And they find a charioteer lying dead. Jatayu had killed. And the charioteer's hands were still holding on to the reins and the whip when he lay there dead. And they spotted that. And Rama said, "This is the track of a male Rakshasa. Evidently, Lakshmana, Sita has been taken off, carried away by Rakshasas who can take any form at will." How much must she be suffering? Or maybe she has been eaten up already, Lakshmana. And he declares to him, "Lakshmana, you will see my enmity to the Rakshasa clan now increase 100-fold. I don't know. Can you hear? No. They are all looking very lost out there. I don't think they can. Not sure. Can you hear? Sharda? No. Leave it. See, why he is saying this point about increasing enmity, increasing 100-fold. Earlier, in the beginning of Aranyakanda, when the rishis had come asking for protection and Rama had declared unilaterally that I will protect and I will destroy the Rakshasas who are harassing you, who are torturing you. Sita had a long conversation with him, saying, you must decide whether this is the right thing to do. Should you be taking enmity with some people, some creatures who have not caused you any harm? And what is the pledge that you have taken? That you would be living the life of an ascetic in the forest, etc., etc. And he had explained his position. But now there was reason, there was cause. He said, declared, war declared. He is 100-fold my enmity towards the Rakshasas is going to rise now. God knows I can see them, but I don't think this is distracting. Okay. And then he says, the pity is that the dharma that Sita was observing has not been of use to her. Dharma was of no avail, Lakshmana. Kartaramapi lokanam shuram karunavedinam ajnanadavamanyerat sarvabhutani Lakshmana. It tells Lakshmana, the creator of the world, a creator of the world who can make and unmake the worlds, such a creator of the world, if he is seen to be compassionate, then he is despised by all the creatures, even if he be the creator. If he is known that this fellow is compassionate, then the whole world thinks low of you. Mridum lokahite yuktam dantam karunavedinam Nirvirya iti manyante nunam mam tridasheshvara. Mridum lokahite yuktam. Mridum lokahite yuktam dantam karunavedinam. Nirvirya iti manyante nunam mam tridasheshvara. Ujjwal, you will have to put it into mute.
You can't mute them.
I mute, they'll have to. It's okay. Okay. Mridum lokete yuktam dantam karunavedinam nirvirya iti manyante nunam mam tridasheshvara. It is clear that the gods, the devas look upon me as somebody who is a weakling. Nirviryam. They think Rama is a weakling. He has no valor. Why are they doing that, Lakshmana? Because by nature I am mridum, soft-hearted. Lokahite yuktam. I am ever intent on the good of everybody. Dantam, because I am self-controlled. I control my anger, I control my senses, I control myself. Stop it. I think they've all gone. It's not working today for that reason. Karunavedinam, because I am compassionate by nature, because of these qualities of mine, the gods of the world have decided that Rama is a weakling. You see, Lakshmana, even a good quality, all these are good qualities, even such good qualities, when they come to me, they have become a blemish. Mam prapya hi gunodosha samvrita pashya Lakshmana. What are actually qualities of virtue? When they find residence in the person of Rama, they become wise. They become signs of weakness. That is the way of the world, Lakshmana. Now, they have seen the softness of Rama. They have seen the softness of the moon of Rama. They shall see the luster of the sun. The sun which shall supersede the light of the moon. I shall exhibit my splendor and decimate all these soft qualities that are known in me. Rama is known as Ramachandra, right? The moon. But he belongs to Surya Vamsha. He was born from the fire. His origin lies in the sun and the fire. His persona is as soft as the moon. So he says, people have mistaken me. The gods have forgotten who I am. You shall see the sky filled with my arrows and missiles, Lakshmana, making it impossible for anybody to move in the sky or in the space. I shall put an end to all the three worlds. I shall arrest the movement of the planets. The moon shall be barred from moving in the sky. The fire and wind will be put out of action. The sun's glory will be obscured. The mountain peaks will be pulverized. I shall fling up and down the waters of the ocean. If the lords of the world do not deliver to me Sita unscathed, without a scratch on her, they shall see within 1 hour what I can do. Neither the Asuras nor the Devas, nothing will be left. I shall destroy everything stationary or moving. Kamban adds a point in the Tamil Ramayana. He says all the objects of the world were so terrified of Rama's anger that they wanted to interchange. Nobody wanted to be in the same position of where they were. They say, you come here, I'll go there, like that. They all wanted to exchange. And there was also the worry, what would Rama do? He may even kill the rishis of the forest, because Sita has been kidnapped when they are there. What were they doing? Ityuktva roshatam raksho Ramo nishpidya karmukam Valkala jinamabadhya Jatabharam bandhayat Tasya kruddhasya ramasya Tata bhutasya dhimatah. Tripuram jagnusha purvam rudrasyaiva papaudhanu Sharamadaya sandiptam goram mashi vishopamam Sandhaya dhanushi Sriman Rama Parapuranjaya Yugantagniva kruddha idam vachanam abravit. Valmiki paints that scene. He says, Rama, his eyes red with anger, his lips quivering. He drew his deer bark and his tree bark and deer skin tight around his body. He tied up his matted locks. And in that paroxysm of anger, Rama's body was blazing like Rudra, like Shiva. Rudrasya eva babhaudhanu. When Rudra in the far past had resolved to destroy the 3 cities, the Tripura, how had he looked? Like that Rama looked. And taking his bow from Lakshmana, drawing it to the full, Rama, Parapuranjaya, he calls him here, Valmiki. Destroyer of the fortress of the foe, like Shiva or like Indra. Fitted his bow with a blazing arrow that looked like a venomous viper, a snake. And looking like the fire of Pralaya, he told Lakshmana, Yatha jara, yatha mrityur, yatha kalo, yatha vidhi, nityam na pratihanyante sarvabhuteshu Lakshmana, tathaham krodha samyukto na nivaryosmi sarvatha. Yatha jara, like old age cannot be stopped, Lakshmana. Yatha mrityu, like death cannot be stopped. Yatha kalo, yatha vidhi, like time cannot be stopped. Like fate, destiny, try what you will, it cannot be denied. No creature can do a thing about any of this, Lakshmana. Likewise, I, who have been roused to anger, cannot be diverted from my purpose now under any circumstances. If this very day they do not deliver to me the flawless Sita with a charming smile, exactly as she used to be, if they do not deliver her back to me, I shall overturn and destroy all creation. The earth, the mountains, the gods, the Gandharvas, the serpents, the men, everybody, I shall destroy. Kamban he says, when Rama's mind was whirling in anger, The seven seas started whirling. The sky started spinning. The Vedas started shaking. The most beautiful simile he says, the minds of the sages, the Maharshis, got disturbed. The Kaivalya, Maunam of the Maharshis was broken. Rama was angry. Coming back to Valmiki. So Rama was blazing in pain because of Sita's kidnapping. And like the fire of destruction of the world, he was bent upon Lokanam Abhave, the non-existence. He wanted to just let the world not exist. And he was holding on to his bow and breathing heavily, looking like Shiva who is going to destroy the world at its end. And Lakshmana saw that. And Lakshmana, Valmiki says, Adrishta Purvam. He had never seen Rama in this state before. Lakshmana, who is like the life outside of Rama's body, as Valmiki says, is Rama's life outside his body, is Lakshmana. There is nothing that Rama he has not seen. Every minute he is seen. He has not seen this. This state of anger of Rama he has not seen. Abravit pranjalir vakyam mukhena parishushyata. Lakshmana's mouth dried up. Completely dried up. Then he had to, he was saying, I am going to destroy the world. So Lakshmana, pranjalihi, with his hands folded, he tried to reason with Rama. He said, Rama, having all along you have shown that you are soft-hearted. You are self-controlled and you are ever intent in the good of the entire world. You have shown that all along. You should not now allow your anger to get the better of you. That goes against your natural disposition, Rama. Just a short while ago, Rama had accused him of the same thing, that you had allowed anger to get the better of you, Lakshmana. So in some sense, Lakshmana reminding him exactly, you're falling a prey to exactly the same defect, Rama. Chandre Lakshmi Prabha Surye Gadirvayo Bhuvikshama Etattu Niyatam Sarvam Tvai Chanuttamam Yasha. Chandra Lakshmi, like glory is to the moon, like Prabha Surya, like luster is to the sun, Gatir Vayu, like swiftness is to the wind, and Bhuvik Shama, as patience is to the earth. These are all natural and innate qualities of these objects. Glory, luster, speed, patience, forbearance. Rama, all these qualities are innate in you as well. You have got all of this. Glory, speed, patience, splendor. And on top of it, you have unequaled fame. Rama, you should not destroy the entire creation because of one man's offense. Then to bring his anger to to direct his anger. He says, Rama, I cannot figure out whose chariot this is that is lying broken here. Apparently, a battle has been fought here. But then I can see that there was only one chariot that was involved in this battle. For there are no tracks of another chariot. I'm wondering, who is it who would dare to do something like this, who can rejoice in your problem? I cannot think that it can be the Devas or the Gandharvas. None of them would do something like this, Rama. But we have to find out, because somebody has done it. Let us find out who. Let us search. Bow in hand, you and I. Let us search and let us go take the help of the rishis. Let us search everywhere. Let us search systematically. Let us search without haste. But let us search without taking any rest. Let us search till we find her. Till we come upon that person who abducted your wife. Let us search. And then, when we come upon that person, if the gods do not restore your wife to you, you can take whatever action that is called for. Shilena samna vinayena sitam nayena na prapsyasi chen narendra tatas samutsadehe mapunghe mahendra vajra pratimaisharo sharoghaihi. Shilena. You come upon the person who has abducted your wife, and then if you cannot reason with him, if you cannot convince him, recover Sita by convincing him to reason by your conduct, you cannot reconcile whatever issue he has, because reconciliation, if you cannot do that by your normal kindness, your self-restraint, if you cannot recover Sita by using tact and diplomacy, then you may effect your purpose with a flood of arrows of your golden shafts that fall like Indra's thunderbolt. So Lakshmana was reasoning with Rama, saying, control your anger, let us go search, let us find who has done this, then we will decide. But was Rama consoled? He was not consoled. His anger was still blazing. So Lakshmana fell to his feet and clasped it. Valmiki says he clasped it so hard he crushed the feet of Rama. He simply crushed it with his hand and continued to reason with him, crushing his feet. He says, Rama, if you cannot manfully bear the grief that has come upon you, how can the common run of men, who have no strength of will, how can they be expected to bear any misfortune? Please calm yourself down, Rama. What mortal born on this earth will not face one calamity or another? Calamities, they come, they catch like fire, but they go away. They go away in a second, Rama. This is the common lot of all creatures. Yayati went to the world of Indra, but then he fell. He fell. Vasishtha, our own father's guru, Vasishtha, he begot 100 sons in a single day. And in a single day, all 100 sons of his were slain. Brahmarshi Vasishtha. Yacheyam jagatam mata devi loka namaskruta asyasta chalanam bhume drishyate satya samshraya. Rama, who is ever resolved on truth, don't we see that goddess earth, the goddess earth who is the mother of all, who is the mother of all, that goddess earth who has got unparalleled forbearance, unparalleled ability to put up with trouble. Even she, on occasion, it becomes so difficult for her that even she quakes. Bhumehe chalanam, it quakes. The sun and moon, Rama, they are subject to eclipse. No creature, Rama, not even the greatest of them, not even the Devas, O best of men, no creature is able to transgress the will of the Supreme Lord, who is the inner controller of all creatures. You should not grieve. You should not grieve, O best of men. Rama, the deeds of a man in the past, in the previous lives, which he did, and when he did, he would not know the fruits of those deeds that he did. Deeds that he did at that time that he cannot recall now, the nature of what he did, he does not know. And when he did not know what are the fruits that will come. Those deeds. However, he did, because you see that he is having some fruits that he is coming to him this way. So, unless he had done those deeds, this would not have come. The results would not have come about, Rama, were they not been caused by certain deeds that he has done. We know that, Rama. And Rama, this truth is you taught me. You were the one. You have yourself taught me this many times in the past. Okay, Lakshmana, it is like this, see that. This could not have come because of this reason. You told me. I do not presume to teach you, Rama. Not even Brahaspati can teach you. Buddhischate mahapranya devairapi duranvaya shokena bhiprasuptam te jnanam sambodhayamyam. Rama, even the gods cannot hope to understand the ways of your mind, of your intellect, the reasons why you do this or that. Not even the gods can hope to understand that. You are a Mahapragya, you are the supremely sagacious, wise Rama. All I am merely trying to do, Rama, is to rouse your intelligence which is gone to sleep because of grief. Prasuptam, nanna thungit. Your words used are very powerful. Shokena abhi prasuptam te jnanam sambodhayamyam. Your jnana has gone to deep sleep because of shokena, sorrow, grief. All I am merely doing is wake it up. What will you gain, Rama, by destroying all creation? Find out that sinner, your enemy, and then destroy him, root and branch. Carefully consider with an unprejudiced mind what we should do now. So reasonable, Valmiki says, so reasonable were the arguments of Lakshmana, that Rama, although he was the elder brother, accepted the advice of the younger one. Sannigruhya Mahabahu Pravrittam Kopamaatmanah Avashthabhya Dhanuschitram Ramo Lakshmanam Abravit. Sannigruhya Mahabahu Pravrittam Kopamaatmanah. He restrained his swelling anger. Avashtabhya Dhanuschitram. And then he leant on his splendid bow, looking fast, captivating. Just leaned on his bow, and looking at Lakshmana. Rama of mighty arm. Called back his anger. With a smile, he leant on his bow. And then he asked Lakshmana, child, what shall we do now? What shall we do now, my child? Where shall we go? How do we find Sita? Give your mind to it, Lakshmana, tell me. What should we do? Lakshmana said, let us search. And they started in that direction, southern direction. And Rama was holding a frightful razor-sharp arrow ready in his bow as he searched. In that hunt, there is no time. That arrow is needed. That alertness needed. The systematic search is needed. But no rest is allowed. That is the ground conditions that Lakshmana has said. The hunt is on. And then they came upon the big bird, Jatayu. The supremely blessed creature, says Valmiki, huge as a hill, fallen on the ground, drenched in blood. Kamban describes Jatayu as red-beaked, crimson neck, white body, white as Kailash mountain. There it lay, huge as a hill, red, drenched in blood. Dark blood. Somewhere along the line, Kamban described as if a black hill has covered Mount Kailasha. Like that, covered with blood. Far, you could see from far, huge. It was lying there, in blood, looking up like that. And Rama saw from far and he told Lakshmana, this is the fellow who has eaten Sita. I have no doubt. This is a Rakshasa who has been in the disguise of an eagle. After the Maricha episode, Rama is suspecting every shadow. Any animal could be a Rakshasa. Everyone and anyone could be a Rakshasa out here. And he tells Lakshmana, having eaten Sita up, the fellow is lying down comfortably. I will kill him. I will kill him. Saying this, he fitted an arrow and walked towards Jatayu with a tread that seemed to shake the whole earth. When he came near, Jatayu saw him. Somehow could see it was Rama. And in a feeble voice he spoke to Rama. And even as he spoke, he vomited frothy blood and spoke. Yam oshadhimivayushman anveshasi mahavane sa devi mama cha prana ravaneno bhayam hritam. Beautiful verse. Beautiful verse actually. Yam oshadhim iva ayushman anveshasi mahavane. In this huge forest, you are looking for one herb of medicine. She whom you seek, as you would seek a herb of medicine, in this huge forest, that Devi, Rama, has been snatched. That Devi and my life both have been snatched by Ravana. She is gone. Ravana has taken her. I am dead. Ravana has killed me. One straight he tells. All Ayushman he calls, he blesses Rama as well in this verse. Yam oshadhim iva ayushman. O long lived Rama. Almost as if knowing Rama say, I want to die. Long lived Rama. That herb that you seek in this forest, that Devi and my life have both been snatched away by Ravana. I saw her being carried away by Ravana of great force when you and Lakshmana were absent. I rushed to rescue Sita, Lama. I fought with Ravana here. I hurled him down from his chariot. His chariot I destroyed. I broke his bow. I broke his armor. I killed his charioteer by a blow from my wings. But then I became tired and exhausted. And when I was completely fatigued, Ravana cut down my wings with his sword. And then he rose off into the sky, carrying Sita with him. That Rakshasa Ravana, Rama, he has already killed me. Don't you kill me too. Rakshasa nihatam purvam namam hantum tvamarhasi. On hearing Jatayu say this, Rama's face was filled with tears and he became pathetic with double sorrow. He just threw down his bow. He threw away his great bow and he just dived on the ground. He fell on the ground and he embraced the king of birds and he wept aloud along with Lakshmana. There it lay on that lonely foot track in the forest, that bird breathing with great difficulty, just about lifting its head somehow to speak with Rama. And Rama told Lakshmana, look at me, can there be somebody more ill-lucked, more misfortunate, a man who has got worse destiny than I? I have been exiled from my kingdom. I have to live in the forest. I have lost my father. I have been separated from my mother. My wife has been snatched and now the big bird has been killed. Such is my ill luck that if I were to go to the ocean, to have a look at the ocean or to step into the ocean will dry up. Dry up. My ill luck is such. The king of birds, this ancient bird who is a friend of my father, he lies stricken on the ground. Why, Lakshmana? He lies dead on the ground, he lies dying on the ground because of my ill luck. His association with me has brought this about. Ityeva mukta uktva bahusho Raghavassa Lakshmana Jatayusham Chapasparsha Pitrusneham Vidarshayan. Saying this, Rama and Lakshmana stroked Jatayu repeatedly with their hands. Pitrusneham Vidarshayan. All commentaries translate this as Rama and Lakshmana showed paternal affection, like a father stroking a child. They stroked Jatayu. But instinctively, I think it's exactly the opposite. Jatayusham cha pasparsha pitrusneham vidarshayan. They are as they would show affection to their father. The father lies dying. A lifetime of things you have not done for your father will come in front of you. The sheer selfishness of our own pitiable life. What can you do at that point in time? Here his father's friend lies dying. Pitrusneham vidarshayan can very well exactly mean that they are showing sneham as they would to their father affection to the father. Saumitri, Lakshmana see that how for my sake exerting himself to the full, this bird has battled the Rakshasa and has been struck down and is about to lay down his life. He is about to lay down his life, which men find so difficult to give up. There is still life left in him, Lakshmana, but very little, very little. That is why he can hardly speak, and Lakshmana, he can hardly see either. He is seeing very dimly, very dimly. He turns to Jatayu and says, Jatayu, may all be well with you. If you can speak at all, please tell me about Sita. Why did Ravana carry her off? What harm did I do to him that he should carry her off? How did that moon bright, lovely face of Sita look at the time when you saw her? And what did she say, O best of birds? What did she say? And this Ravana, Katham Virya, Katham Rupa, Kim Karma Sacharakshasa, Kvachasya Bhavanam Tata, Bruhime Paripruchata, Katham Virya. This Ravana, how strong is he? Katham Rupa, what does he look like? What does he look like? Kim Karma, what exactly did he do? Kvachasya Bhavanam, where does he live? Where is his home? Tata, father, he tells Jatayu, Father, I am eager to know. On that note, we'll conclude today. We'll come back next week. Har Namah Parvati Pataye Janaki Kanta Smaranam Gopika Jivana Smaranam Vetrivel Muruganak Sri Sadguru Swaminah Sri Anjaneya Swaminah